It's a rainy day here, so I think I might spend a little bit of time working on the Honda. With the new paint job, what seemed obvious, you know, you go down that rat hole. Now I look at those airboxes and they look really crappy. So it's all discolored. I don't know if they were painted before, but I'm getting I'll get some satin black plastic paint and give them a little paint job so that they look better with the new paint on the tank and the side covers. Probably could have did those after. A couple butterfly bolts on the end of these here that you take off. That's how you change the filter. So take those guys off. Stuck in there. And then you get the cables and wires and what have you sticking on the butterfly nuts. Anyway, if you get yourself through that, then you've got your air filter out. That rubber was just sticking a little bit in there. That's pretty good, not terrible. And then you grab the top part. So this is all the bit that I want to clean up. Here's a few shots of the bike when it was being rebuilt. So it was torn right down to the frame repainted, rebuilt from there on up. But you do have to draw the line somewhere when somebody else is doing the work and you're paying for it. So I'll tidy up a few more things like this airbox. You know, when you're restoring something, yeah, this stuff does make a difference. You look at these are 50-year-old pieces, and it doesn't take a lot of effort to take this stuff off and give it a little tidy up and a paint. And it makes a big difference to the overall effect, you know, because you look at that, it is visible. I'm just going to take this over into the my workshop and finish taking this apart so it'll be easier to work on. I'll take all these bits off so when I paint it, they don't get all messed up. had to mute the audio on this part because I had some music playing in the background. I didn't want to run into any copyright problems, but yeah, just cleaning this stuff up, and I just checking the gasket. Those are all good, so none of that needs to be replaced. So it's really in good condition, other than the fact that it looks kind of bad. So there it is. Just to take all the little bits that aren't going to get painted or cleaned up, and I'll just put them in the bag and keep them in one place instead of leaving them all over the joint. Almost looks like I know what I'm doing sometimes. Well, I'll try to clean these up the best I can. I mean, ideally, if I didn't have to paint them, would be the better way to go. But yeah, well, they're pretty shoddy, so I'll try to clean all this stuff off. I might get a brush and some stuff and see how that comes out. If they still look pretty shitty after I do all that, then I'll go for the plastic paint, and I'll repaint all this stuff too, because it lets the bike down. You know, it's just, you look at that and you know, nice shiny bike with a new frame painted and a tank painted, and then you got, you know, crap like that on it. This is what they look like when they were new. You can see what the plastic looks like in here, and that's what it used to look like. You know, it was jet black. I wouldn't do it shiny. I'd do it as satin, although they were pretty shiny originally, but I think it looked better in a satin, you know. We're not taking it to Pebble Beach or anything. What worked best in these things, I just put them in the sink and sprayed them with that degreaser, and let them sit and soak, and then gave them a brush, and that seemed to work well and didn't do any damage to the plastic. So that seemed to be a good way to do it. Well, certainly a lot of dirt coming off that. With the degreaser. Which is really just like heavy duty dish soap, really. I'll give these bits of sand for sure. I'll paint all this stuff. I'll paint all these. Screws and stuff, so they'll look better. Nothing like the old gravel can. Just putting the airbox back together again. I gave it a little coat of paint. Mainly interested in the sides. I didn't spend a lot of time making the rest of it look perfect. It's got scratches from coming in and out. And I used this acrylic paint, which is all right on plastic. It's made out of plastic, so it's a little stretchy. It's actually a satin black. They call it acrylic lacquer. Not sure what that all means, but that's the one that was recommended, so that's what I've used. And I want to mention that these stacks, the velocity stacks, when they go in, they do have a top and a bottom. This, of course, is the top goes in that way, and the larger gap, you can see the marks from the mold, the larger gap on the top, which gives them a slight canter, so when you put them in, they're lined up perpendicular with the carburetors. If you don't do that, you'll have a lot of problem making that work. How do I know? I've done it wrong one time. So anyway, just worth noting in case you're doing that. And I'll get this back together and we'll stick it back on the bike. Just going to put the top of the airbox on. Only thing to note here is make sure when you do your clamps, two face each direction so you can get at them. And if you're careful putting this in, you really don't have to scratch your frame. Goes on the inside. And all goes in pretty good. No dramas there. It really is a matter of having those rubber stacks lined up on the proper angle. If you don't do that, or even if you haven't had them apart, they may have just gotten out of precision over the years. So it's always a good thing to check. Well, there's the airbox back in. Pretty simple, really. And I think it looks a lot better. I did shine this up best I could. Looks better, but it's still old looking. But the only trick to this is when you put your clamps on here, don't do these up until you've got that in. And of course, never try to put it together in one piece. When the bottom's off, you can get your hand in there and push in, because these need to be seated in there, and leave that off so that you can move it around the top part and get your screws tight, and then get these in later. So if you do it like that, that's what works for me, I guess. There's other approaches to it, but anyway, we all do things a little different. But that's what it looks like now with that in, and I think it looks a lot better. And when I get the side covers and everything else back on after I've had a little time to clean it up, I think it's going to look a lot better. Well, there it is back together again. I think that looks a lot better now. I still have to finish cleaning it. But I think it was worth the effort.